like talking to people. Like, you never know how it's going to go. All these times that we've done this, I've had one person drop a word that you're not supposed to say. It was a racial epithet. And then I had one person just scream like a lunatic. And that's it. So I shouldn't get that nervous. But I did want to talk today about the latest Blind Guy unboxing that I did. And it was one of the more bizarre things that I've ever tried in my entire life. Ooh, I think I just made things sound a little bit better. So the screener, when I have them screened now, it's edible, not edible. Like, mess with that one, don't mess with that one. That's basically it. I'm not getting any other information besides that. So when I went into the booth, this thing was edible. What time is it, by the way? Oh, it's 4:25. I always forget the damn GoPro. Let me lean forward. I'm so nervous about knocking things over. Let me hit reach and see if I can find it. There's a GoPro right there. And now, there we go. Now we're live on every single platform. We're actually going to have a special guest today, too. We're going to have someone come in, because I know that there's tons of comments, people going on in the comments and saying all sorts of stuff and having conversations, and I don't get to be a part of it. So we are, what? It's working on Instagram. Oh, good. We're on Instagram. Thanks, Banana. You want Skylar in or out? But Skylar can do whatever she wants. You can leave the door open.
I'll do a crack. All right,
okay. Bye. That was Banana. She's obviously not taking part today because she has a job to go to. My job this week was super weird. I will say it is super, I'm all over the place, by the way. It just popped into my head that, Super Bowl, the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl is super weird for voiceover people. You get all sorts of auditions, but nobody wants you to know what their Super Bowl commercial is. So everything that comes through my inbox, it says like confidential read, don't tell anybody. And then a lot of times, like instead of the actual product, like if it's a shoe company, they'll just have you like say the letter X or just say shoe company or something like that. So you're doing these auditions and you don't even know what you're auditioning for because everything is super duper top secret. We can talk more about that later, but yeah, back to the, the thing I got for the Blind Guy unboxing. We're a few minutes before the official start time, so I'm trying to stall before we get to the big unveil. But this thing, so let's see if I can hold it up to the some audience there, and then the TikTokers and the Instagrammers. Let's see if I can lean forward. Where is your camera? Way up there. If you guys can see it. So if I'm holding it forwards, I don't even know if I was holding it forwards. If you guys know what it is, I was told for my last Blind Guy unboxing that this is edible. It's edible. That's all I knew. And then I opened it up and I reached in there and I'm like, are you sure? It had the strangest smell. And beyond that, it had the strangest feel of anything that I've ever had. Turning down my headphone volumes a little bit. Let me open one up and see if I can show it to you. It feels, once you know what it is, I guess it's obvious what it feels like, but it's a little thing. It's like hard on the outside and it smells like, just smells really earthen. Kind of smells like, in the unboxing that I'm going to drop on Monday, it smelled like a Christmas tree. So I'm like, what is this bizarre thing? I had no idea what it was. I was sent to the studio. I did the recording by myself this week because I was told that everything was safe. It was edible. Nothing was going to hurt me. So I'm sitting there with this thing by myself, knowing it was edible. And I'm like, I hope she was right. I hope she was definitely sure it was edible. So it is. I found it out later. It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. I just bit it in half. It's a pine cone. It's a pine cone. So apparently, I guess these are called young candy or candied young pine cones. And right now, this is why I wasn't even sure if I was supposed to be eating it. I felt like I was eating just the sap from a Christmas tree. I'm like, what is going on with this? Apparently, it's a treat in Siberia and other places like that over there. What they do is they take really young pine cones. Now I'm from the Northeast, where every pine cone is big and hard by the time it falls to the ground. You wouldn't think about eating it. But once I knew what it was, and I was like, oh, that's why it felt like those hard little edges, because it's like the little baby edges of a baby pine cone. But what they do is they take pine cones in Siberia, and then they boil them in either molasses or sugar or something really sweet, and it candies it. I gave one to Brooks last night, and he loved it. He was trying to eat them all. I'm like, wait, I got to bring him to the show tomorrow. And I gave him a banana, and she was like, bleh, this thing's nasty. And she actually went and spat it out because it's just so weird. The things that I get to try, I've had Spanish baby squid with garlic flavoring. I got to eat those once. Now I'm eating young candied pine cones. The stuff that I'm getting to try, the palate of the American people is pretty narrow. We don't try a lot of crazy different things around here. So for me, the Blind Guy Unboxing has expanded my palate. I do not like the hot stuff. I do like sour stuff. I do like sweet stuff. And I just found out that I'm a big fan of candied pine cones. Who knew? So whoever sent that to me, thank you. I still got this one in my mouth. It totally tastes like, it just tastes like I'm eating, it just tastes like I'm eating a pine tree, and with the dirt and everything. It's kind of the weirdest thing I've ever tried, but now I'm kind of addicted. And I did look, that little bag is dropped on the ground. This tiny little bag, I saw it online at Amazon. It was like $17. I was like, oh, that is expensive, but I don't know. It was kind of fun to try. It's fun to try different things when you know they're edible. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. We're going to be talking to all sorts of people today. First caller on the line right now. Who's this?
Hi, Pete. This is Artemis Shelton from Lexington, Kentucky, and I use she, her pronouns.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you for all the identifiers. I appreciate it. What's going on today?
I just wanted to say I had called a long time ago. I went by Moon Lady, and I accidentally got kicked off, so I thought I'd call in.
I remember there was a whole. See, this is why I'm glad Brooks is coming today. He was running the what's it called, the chat. The day that you were trying to get in, and I forgot why you got. Did you just get disconnected, or we couldn't hear you, or what happened? I do remember we lost you.
I think because I'm transgender, I have a deep voice. I think you thought I was a different person because I went by Moon Lady, so obviously you're going to think I'm a guy because I have a deep voice. It's okay. It happens. But I did want to say I called in. I am a little young, but I got engaged Sunday.
Wow, you did.
I am so excited. Me and my girlfriend went to the mall, and she got down on one knee, and she proposed to me. We're gonna get married.
Kind of fun. Did you know? Did you have any idea?
No.
Really?
No.
She just totally surprised you?
Yes, it was awesome.
Do you remember what store you were in front of and what song was playing on the mall loudspeaker at that moment?
Okay, we were in Hot Topic because we're both very like goth.
Okay, great.
Type people.
Fantastic.
And funnily enough, American Idiot by Green Day was playing.
All right, so, I want to be an American. Yeah, oh, I shouldn't sing. I'll get muted. if you do a karaoke version on a YouTube Live, they mute the audio, so I shouldn't sing too much. But that is awesome that you remember that, and congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
When I asked Banana to marry me, I had this whole plan that I was going to walk one way on the beach, and then Josh and Danny and Banana's half sister, they were going to set up this thing for me. I saw a video about it. Yeah, we did a whole video, but the video got completely messed up. Yeah. Oh God, you remember that? Everything got all messed up because I was walking back, and I'd gotten used to at that time just seeing light and dark, and I felt like when I got to a certain point of the beach, there was like a lot of rocks and then not a lot of rocks. I'm like, okay, so that's the dark, the rocks is the dark, and then the light is the beach. But I was so damn nervous. I was like just nervous about the whole situation that we went like 300 yards past the spot, and Josh texts me. And I listened to the text on my watch, and he's like, you completely missed the spot. And I'm like, oh no. So what I did is just right where I was, because we walked so far that we were just about to leave the beach. And, we're just going to go home. And I'm like, no, wait, I had this whole plan. So like right at the base of the stairs that we were supposed to go up to leave the beach, I just dropped down to one knee immediately and asked her right then and there. And she got caught off guard. She was freaked out. She basically said like, yes, just stand up. He just wanted me to hurry up and stand up. And she had time to process it later. And then she turned around, and our friends were like waving to us from 300 yards down the beach. And she's like, why are Josh and Danny over there? I'm like, that's where we were supposed to be.
Well, I will say I am extremely happy. And also, I heard you saying you had somebody screaming. I was getting tofu in my kitchen. And my dog hopped up on the counter, and I was like, ah! To get him off. So sorry about that.
That's okay. So did she
wanted to say before I leave. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, did she give you a ring?
Yes, and I sent you an email a while back. I might send in like an email of a picture of it, but it has this beautiful like purplish blue stone in it, and then it has like we don't care about if it's real or not. I just care about the sentiment.
Yep.
And then there's like 2 diamonds on either side of it, and it's like a twisty sort of design. It's really beautiful.
That sounds really cool. And
yeah,
no, you had no idea. You didn't know you didn't know that she got the ring or anything.
No clue.
I thought I was so clever about getting Banana the ring. Now, I had an entirely custom ring made by a jeweler in New York. I had a specially picked diamond. Like I went all out because, you know, she's my forever Banana, and you know, I'm at a different point in my life than you are. So I was able to do something a little
Right.
fancy. And what I did
And also,
is,
you know, you're a famous voice actor.
yes, I didn't. There's a certain standard to uphold for me and the other voice actors. But I went into her jewelry dish that she keeps in the house,
Yeah,
and
how
I
do
took.
you find her size?
That's the thing. So I didn't know what size. I know she's a small girl. She's only 9,900 pounds normally. She's very small. And so I grabbed this ring and I'm holding it and I'm like, it feels like a pretty small ring. And I brought it down to the jeweler and I'm like, I took this right out of her jewelry thing. So what size is this? And I don't remember the number at this point. And they're like, it's, you know, whatever it is.
Clever.
6'5", whatever. And so a couple months later, the thing gets made. It gets sent to me from New York. And I go and I present it to her. And she waits a little while. We're finally at our like little engagement party. And she's like, the ring's pretty big. And I'm like, what? Because it's in a platinum.
Damn.
It's in a platinum band, you know, custom made. And I'm like, I took one of your rings. And later on at home, I asked her or she asked me like what ring I took. And so there's apparently 2, 3, or 4 different bowls where she keeps her jewelry. One of them is the nice things. The other one is the earrings. The other one's some da-da-da. And the bowl that I reached into was like total just costume funny jewelry. So it was probably a ring that she got at Hot Topic that was just like one size fits all. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's the ring that I grabbed? So we had to
great.
We had to have the whole thing.
I want to make room for other people to call in.
Yeah,
so,
sure. No, it's fun to talk to you about this stuff. Thanks a lot.
I am going to dip out. I want to. Yeah, sure.
Congratulations. That's pretty. Oh God, I remember that whole thing with her ring. That's funny. He's like, "You're talking too much. I gotta go." He just reminded me of that whole situation. And the ring. So it was like this big, right? And we had to make it like this big, except there were baguettes mounted on either side and a big diamond on top. So when you made it smaller, everything else fit kind of funny. So it was kind of a huge screw up that I was off, and I wasn't off by like one size. It was like 3 sizes too big. The costume jewelry was like 3 sizes too big, but we got it redone. We got it on her, and she is my forever Banana now. It's the as you can tell, the Talk About Anything show today. 760-517-6844 is the phone number.
Yeah.
Who we got in the line right now?
Hey, how you doing, Pete? This is David from Oshkosh again.
David, what's going on today? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. We just hit the Y today. It was like 50 degrees out, you know, and it's been pretty cold in Wisconsin here, so it was a nice change up.
Yeah, 50's an upgrade for the day, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, we had negative weather, and the wind chill was down to like negative 28.
Oh, my God, really?
Yep.
I remember growing up in Massachusetts, I don't know, like the late 80s, early 90s, my parents got this digital thermometer, and it used to keep the record high and the record low, like the highest and lowest it ever got to. And I remember before I left for college, the thing was like, it was like 106 or 104, something over 100. And there was a negative, whether it was like negative 6, 7, 8, or 9 or something like that. I'm like, what a crazy place to live. Does it get as hot in Oshkosh over the summers, or is it more tepid throughout the year?
We get 75, 80, sometimes we get into the hundreds, but it's rare.
Yeah. Well, what else is going on today besides my weather talk?
Nothing else really going on today. Just trying to, believe it or not, I'm training myself how to count cards.
Oh, Vegas doesn't like you already. So I used to be a big blackjack player. Used to really enjoy it, and I was never able to see the cards. And I would say 95% of the time it wasn't a problem. I would sit down at the table, I would explain to the dealer that I couldn't see the cards, and they would tell me what they had and what I had. There was only a couple instances, and they were actually both in the Connecticut area. In Vegas, I had no trouble. In Connecticut, I forget, there was Mohegan Sun or I think it was that one, or Foxwoods. They thought that I was like trying to pull some scam. They're like, we can't tell you what the cards are. I'm like, why not?
That sounds like an ADA violation.
Yeah, then the pit boss came over, and it just, it wasn't a big deal, but it made me like really self-conscious. It kind of took the fun out of the day for me. Like, we got it squared away, but we'd made a scene. The pit boss had come over. Everybody at the table had gotten out of their flow. It was kind of a thing. It was more of a thing than I wanted it to be. But usually they were pretty good about it. One year I was in Vegas with Banana, and I was just trying to film my adventures in Vegas, because I film everything these days. And I was just walking through the floor with a GoPro, and I got descended on by the security. They were on me in a moment. There's no cameras allowed on the floor. Put that thing away. What are you doing? I was like, oh my God. I wasn't really aware of that. And I also didn't even think I was that close to the floor. Like, I wasn't near the cards at that moment, but they're very serious about that. That was either Caesar's Palace or the Bellagio, but they don't like cameras on the floor.
Right. I got in trouble for skateboarding in Vegas. The first time I went to Vegas, I wasn't old enough to gamble or nothing, so I just went skateboarding all over the town. And yeah, apparently the casinos own the sidewalk in front of their casino.
Really? So, and they're
in
responsible for maintaining their own sidewalks?
Yep.
That's interesting. I feel like that's got to be...
Sidewalk in front of the casino belongs to them, yeah. And they didn't want me skateboarding in front of their casino, because I was just skating by. I wasn't doing any tricks or nothing.
Huh.
I was just sightseeing.
There's a bunch of interesting... I remember the last time Banana and I were in Vegas, we tried to... A bunch of interesting things about Vegas. Tried to hail a cab. Did you know that you cannot hail a cab in Vegas?
No, I didn't know that.
They don't want people hailing cabs in front of their casinos. Maybe it's because, like you said, they own the sidewalk. So you can't just be walking down the street and wave for one. You have to go to a specific drop-off, pickup location. And I think it might be the same for Uber, but they don't want people on the Strand, or the Strip there, rather, just hailing vehicles. I worked out there for a little while between college and high school at a radio station, KXNT. It was a talk station. And right now I'm the voice of the extreme alternative rock radio station called X1075. It's been a while since I've gone, but I do love Vegas, but there's some definitely different rules in the rest of the world out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they own the town.
Well, good luck with your card counting. Don't tell them you know me when you get in trouble. I want no part of it.
Cheating, they just kick you out.
Yeah, if you're doing too good, they don't like that.
Right. But so, yeah, I got a friend with cerebral palsy, and he's a poker player, and he has a blind he uses, and he sits next to the dealer, and he has the dealer put his cards in the blind, and then he'll tell the dealer what he wants to bet or fold or whatever. That's
cool, and they're helpful with them. I mean, I'm sure. You know,
he goes to Vegas and does the World Championship of Poker every year.
Good for him. Yeah, the time I had trouble, it was probably 20 years ago at this point, and I feel like all that stuff has gotten a lot better. I feel like there's actual specific training on it. I did feel like at the time when I was going out there, it didn't seem like there was like a protocol they were following. They were just like good people. They're like, oh, okay, you can't see the cards, I'll say it. And when it happened to me at Foxwoods, I think I just caught them off guard. They're like, whoa, they didn't tell us blind people be gambling. I don't know what to do with that. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like a big deal. I wasn't upset with it. It just kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it. But these days, I'm sure there's actual training for stuff like that.
Right.
Well, good luck with the card counting.
I had a quick question for you.
Yeah, fire away.
What's the average pay for voice acting?
That's an interesting... I'm making all sorts of... I keep forgetting everybody else can see me. I'm making all sorts of like funny faces now. You know why? It's because I got pine cones all over my tongue right now. I got pine cones in my gums and pine cones in my teeth. It's a weird thing to eat. The average pay for a job can vary super widely. Anything from... I'll give you one of the lowest paying things that I've done recently is I teamed up with... Tour Design and Live Nation and a bunch of concert promoters to do the commercials that you hear on the radio when a band comes to town. Right now, I think I'm doing what am I doing? I'm doing REO Speedwagon. I'm doing some stuff for Kid Rock, and I'm also doing stuff for a play that's traveling around the country. I think it's currently in Boston. It's called Funny Girl, and you only get $100 for the read. They pay you $100, and then that takes care of all the spots that run in that particular city. It's really quick and easy work, though. I do it in, less than 5 seconds. I just do that town, come into the Wang Theater in Boston, Saturday the 10th, and you get $100 for that. But then I'll swing to the other end of the business. If you're doing a commercial read, and it's like a national commercial, and it's going to be on TV, on cable, and maybe they're going to do some online streaming as well, the numbers can get pretty massive. I mean, you can get like $30,000 to $60,000 for an hour and a half to 2 hours of work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
you counting cards is not necessary for you, my friend.
I mean, it's not like I'm landing a commercial gig every other week. They're difficult to get, but yeah, like and the on-camera people, like, I don't know what people think of when they see Flo. The woman that does the progressive commercials, but like that is like, she's probably making. I'm kind of guessing here, but I'm guessing she's probably making about $1 million a year or more for doing those things. Because just doing a voice, like if you hear the voice of like a Verizon commercial or Home Depot, something that is national, not your local hardware store or something like that, something that Subway, Eat Fresh, like those are tens of thousands of dollars for each commercial. And then if you're on a brand that hires you again and again and again, I mean, it can really add up. I'm on a national campaign right now for some eye drops called Sustain, and it's like super exciting to be a part of that, to be their brand voice and to do those kinds of sessions. It's great.
What's your favorite job you've done?
I still think that I'm most excited and thankful to have gotten the opportunity to play Optimus Prime in the Direct Line commercials.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. And I was kind of nervous. Cool. I actually waited a year, one for contractual reasons, and two because I was kind of nervous. I waited about a year to even talk about that commercial. And I was really afraid once people put my name and my voice to that performance, they'd all be like, well, you're obviously not Peter Cullen. You're not the real Optimus Prime. But I studied for that role. I worked really hard. I did my best not to impersonate him, but to bring my own thing to it, but to stay true to the Optimus Prime character that people know. And, I posted that video talking about it. I think it got 3.3 million views. And I'm a little neurotic about the comments from time to time. And I'd say 95% of the comments were like, that sounded great. You did a good job. There were a handful of those people that were obviously Peter Cullen fans. And they're like, you're not the original guy. But the fact that so many people were approving of my performance in that commercial also makes it one of my favorites. Like, it was fun for me to do, and it was apparently received well. So you can't really beat that combo.
Yeah, I like how they stuck it to the purists in the first Transformer movie by having Bumblebee bump into a yellow VW bug, because that was the original Bumblebee. They were like making fun of the purists, like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, what did he end up being in the? I wasn't able to see by the later movies.
He was a
Camaro. Yeah, yellow Camaro. That's kind of fun. All right, that's good.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But when they first showed him, he opened the door and bumped into the yellow VW bug. That would have been the original Bumblebee.
That's kind of funny. Well, David, thanks for the call. I'm going to move along and grab some other calls. We're going to be sticking 4:47. I'm going to be sticking around maybe a little longer than usual today because we're getting a moderator. Brooks is going to be showing up in about 15 minutes or so. So everybody that's in the chat, you can, I forgot to slow-mo the chat. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud. The chat is slow. Don't worry about it on the YouTube. But he'll be able to check the chats on TikTok, I think Instagram, YouTube. I'd like him to check in to see if anybody is over on Facebook and Twitch today. I had a record last week. I had 7 whole people watching on Twitch. I had 6,000 people watching on TikTok, 2,000 on Instagram, 2,000 on YouTube, and 7 on Twitch. Still ways to go on the Twitch platform. I am hearing myself in the background. Can you kill that for me? Hello.
Hi.
Hey, who's this?
This is William and Sean calling from Pennsylvania.
You say William and Sean or William Sean?
William and Sean.
Oh, hey guys.
Calling from Pennsylvania.
Cool. What's going on today? Oh, Pennsylvania. Your team's in the Super Bowl next Sunday, huh?
Yeah.
Well, unless you're a Steelers fan, I guess.
We watched the game with the Eagles, and Dad was very excited.
Nice.
We just had a few questions to ask. Sean's is more simple, so he's going to ask it first.
All right, go ahead.
What's your voice acting sound?
My voice acting sound, that's an interesting question, because it took me a while to figure that out. When I very first started getting into voiceovers, I was trying to sound like everybody else. I was trying to sound like the most popular rock radio guy. And then when I was doing movie trailers, I was trying to sound like the most popular movie trailer guy. And then my voice acting coach at the time made a really, really obvious point that I was like disappointed in myself. I didn't figure it out at the time. She said, if they wanted that sound of that guy that you're imitating, they'd just hire that guy. So I was like, oh, that's a good point. Why would they hire the knockoff of the voice when they can just hire the real voice? So my voice acting sound is as close to my voice as I can possibly make it. And I will add different intonations or emotions, but they're all me. I'm never trying to be someone else or deliver something that I'm not. It's basically just my voice and whatever I feel like the copy calls for. That's the emotion and the way that I deliver it. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yes, that makes sense. I had another question.
Sure.
I know you weren't blind always, so I wanted to know what your favorite color was when you weren't blind.
If you have one.
If you have.
No, it's another really good question. I have always liked, and I was never, because my vision was always kind of wonky. I wasn't exactly sure what color or which shade of it that I liked, but I liked purple, kind of like an aqua or I kind of floated between aqua and like a deep blue. I just like the blue range of things. And that was the color that stuck with me the longest. And I think it might have something to do with waveforms if we're not going a little advanced here, but red has the widest waveform and blue has the narrowest waveform. And I lost red first and I held on to blue and I was very happy about that. And even to this day, if I go outside and there's a really blue day, like, I live really close to the ocean, most of the times I look up and the sky looks white, but every once in a while, I can still see a little bit of blue, and it's all I see. I just see the color kind of washing my vision, and I'm still treated to blue on a certain amount of days, and I'm thankful for that, and I enjoy that because I always like that color.
Yeah, that's neat. I just had one question. I wanted to know if you had a story about this. I know you have dogs.
Yep.
I was wondering if you had like I don't know how to phrase this other than like a pet horror story or something like that, of like a dog messing up something really bad or something like that happening.
I do. I think I might have made a story about this at one point, but it's one of my favorite super dog stories. He was a puppy, and even a puppy Doberman's a pretty big dog. Like I think he was like 6 months, and he was probably 50 or 60 pounds at that point. And we were going for a walk, and I had taken a small poop in front of my house, and I took my one doggy bag and I bagged it up, and I left it like just on the sidewalk. I was going to throw it away when I got back home, and we started our walk. And he did another huge poop right in front of one of the neighbors' house, about 5 or 6 houses down. And I didn't have another bag. I didn't have one. And then, I'm mixing stories. I did. I said, so that I actually did have a second bag for that one. I forgot. And so the woman, she comes up, she was in her front yard, saw Superdog poop on the sidewalk in front of her yard and was like, you're going to pick that up. I'm like, all right. Like it was kind of hard for me to find at the time. My vision was very good. So I'm like scraping and I'm trying to pick it up. And finally I get as much of it in the bag as I can. And I'm holding it. I'm just kind of holding it in my hand. And she's chastising me for letting the dog poop on her sidewalk. And I'm just kind of like, apologizing. Superdog grabs the poop bag out of my hand. This all happens in an instant. Grabs the poop dog bag out of my hand and shakes his head. Does that like crocodile head shake thing. And none of it lands on me. None. Not a drop of the poop landed on me. Completely went all over the neighbor lady. And she was like a 70-something-year-old woman. And she got covered in poop. And she didn't know what to say. And I didn't know what to say. And I'm just like, sorry? Is there anything I can do? And she just stomped away and went back into the house. Probably went straight into the shower, I would assume. Because what else are you going to do at that point?
Yeah, that is... a bad experience for that person, I guess.
It was not good. I felt bad. You know, I mean, in the
Yeah.
moment, I was horrified. But then, as I was telling the story to people, it's kind of a funny story if you can, if you're not the lady, I suppose.
Yeah. Sean just said he had another thing. I don't know what it is, but
when did this happen?
When did the Superdog experience happen? He was a puppy, so that was 2012. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was about 2012.
yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. I think that's all. I think that's all we're gonna call for. So.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, guys. Mr. Moderator is here. I have a placeholder for you. The blind surfer wetsuit.
So I was like, what is that?
If you want to take him and chuck him over there. Yeah, good news for everybody. You're gonna be able to interact in the comments because.
Already doing it on my drive here.
Oh, were you? You were moderating?
Yeah.
All right. So these are your headphones right here. Your microphone is somewhere over there.
Yeah, you're a little quiet on Instagram.
Oh, as long as it's better than last week.
Okay. Yeah, it's notably more quiet than YouTube.
I think as long as I could mess with it, maybe I'll try and improve it next week. As long as they can hear me. Last week was just. I wonder if I could put the. I got the Daredevil mask. It was sitting on top of the wetsuit there. Do you think I can do the show with Skylar? Don't step on everything. Oh my god.
Oh.
Ah. Okay. There we go. Oh well, now I can't hear anything. I was trying to do it. I'm not sure. That doesn't work with the headphones.
Yeah.
And then yeah, all right.
You at least need 1 sense.
Can't see, can't hear, don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But we've been taking some calls talking about. I have I have your new favorite treat handy.
Oh, the pine cones.
Yeah, where are they? Oh, there they are.
Oh yeah.
You want to try it? Let me grab one call and then you can describe one of those. 760-517-6844. Brooks is here. Did you happen to look and see in TikTok? Are you in frame?
Yeah, let me see.
Oh yeah, you can just look at it on your phone. Huh?
Yeah, I was looking at it on the way up. You're in frame.
You might need to be a little closer to me. I'm not sure. But 760-517-6844 is the phone number. We'll take a call as Brooks and I are getting settled with our new configuration. Who's this?
Hi, it's Malcolm. I was here last week. The last call from last week.
Yeah, Malcolm.
I have two questions. Yeah, I have two questions that I couldn't answer last week.
Okay. Sorry, we ran out of time. What do you got?
Who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl, the Eagles or the Chiefs? If you watch them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the NFL, and I would say that you've got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Chiefs and the refs. And when you have the Chiefs and the refs taking on another team, it's going to be really hard for the Eagles to win. So I'm gonna say that the Chiefs and the refs are going to win Super Bowl 59 1 week from this coming Sunday. That is my pick.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
And
I got one more question.
Sure.
Can you shout out my YouTube channel?
Well, what is your YouTube channel? Is it a wholesome? Is it a good thing? What do you do on it?
Yeah, I play games and like funny comedy skits kind of.
All right, I'm gonna put, since I've got a Mr. Moderator here, Brooks. Do we shout out his YouTube channel?
No, we don't do that here. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, Malcolm. Are we all in frame and looking good?
Yep.
And can you make sure to double check? Did you move the camera at all or no? Because I found out the problem with Instagram. It's the little plug going into the camera was super persnickety. No, I just mean on your camera, on your phone, because you won't be able to hear it over there.
I'm just checking the framing. I commented on TikTok, so let me check on that.
Yeah, I found out last week. Last week I thought that I'd changed the volume level, but what it was is we just touched the camera and it was like super persnickety. So I'm using the brand new. There's an iPhone 16 for the TikTokers. You get an iPhone 16, and the Instagrammers. Sorry, all I had in my desk drawer was an iPhone 8. So that's why that one was a little persnickety for us last week.
Yeah, we're good on Instagram.
Okay, that's great. I was so sad. We had Banana. We were doing the old time phrase game, and she works really hard putting those things together, and we have a lot of fun. And then the stupid audio didn't work. That was kind of a huge bummer. I felt bad for her as well as everybody else that couldn't hear us over there. 760-517-6844. Who's this?
Hey, man, this is Edward.
Edward, what's going on?
Hey, man, well, I just had one question for you. Have you ever had a role that you, like, turned down that you wish you didn't?
A role that I turned down that I wish I didn't. No, voice acting is really, it's really, really, really difficult and competitive. It's not like I'm getting thrown 100 opportunities a week. I'm not like a, it's funny, like if you're like the top actor in the world, like if you're a Tom Cruise or like a Bradley Cooper or whoever the hot actors are these days, they're like sifting through scripts and picking and choosing. I mean, I'd like to, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the top voice actors in the country in terms of promo, trailer, narration. But even at the top of the business, you're still fighting, scratching, and clawing to get work. It's not like there's 30 things that are sitting in front of me in the morning and I kind of pick and choose. I mean, even at this level where I am, I probably, if I do 100 auditions in a week, I might book one or two. And that's, I obviously I have tons of ongoing work. But in terms of picking up new work and getting auditions, it's still like a 1 or 2% business. And that's at the top of the business. When you're first getting going, you can get 1,000 auditions and get 0 of them. Voice acting is very hard. So it's a little different than Hollywood in that respect.
Yeah, geez. And then my other question, my last one was, did you know, like, as a kid that you were going to be a voice actor? Like, did your parents say you had, like, a good voice or something like that?
I kind of did, but not like as a little, I wasn't, I've heard stories of DJs and other voice actors that had like their play school, My First Microphone, and, they were like 7 and 8 years old. I wasn't aware that early, but the moment that my voice dropped, I went from like, hi, my name is Peter and I'm from the Boston area. And like, I had like a real little kid voice and a bad accent. But as soon as my voice dropped, it was just like, woof, hi, my name is Peter. And like, everyone's like, whoa, that's a radio voice. And so, but I knew it was a kind of a moonshot of a profession. So even when I went to Boston University, I studied advertising, mass communications, and psychology. Because I didn't want to bank on the fact that I would get into the entertainment business. So I kind of always wished, wanted, hoped, planned for it, but I also had a lot of backup plans just in case it didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hey, and for anybody that wants to get into the voice acting business, I put the entire roadmap on a what's it called? Online course that this guy assembled for me. It's at voiceuniversity.com. It's about 3 hours of material to literally tell you everything you need to know about getting into the business. And it's really, really detailed and will take you from, I don't know where to get started to, I know exactly what to do. And for listeners of this program, you can enter code PETE25 and that'll save you 25% off your tuition. So voiceuniversity.com. What do you got going on? Mr. Moderator?
I was just checking your numbers on the various platforms.
Yeah.
One on Facebook.
One?
Yeah.
One viewer?
Yeah, 91 on YouTube right now. I think we're at like around 20 something on Instagram.
Facebook needs to step it up.
I know.
One. That's like Twitch quality right there.
11 on Instagram.
I wish we could see the one on Facebook. I'd like to shout out the one person.
Yeah. Who are they? And then I think we're actually pretty good on TikTok, like around 50.
All right. I was curious if Devil's Advocate was going to pop in on the YouTube chat today because her daughter is graduating basic training today.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, she's been in, I think the Devil's Advocate has been in almost every single one of the lives that we've ever done. And she mentioned in the comments that yesterday was family day and today was graduation from basic training. And that's quite the accomplishment. That is not an easy thing to do.
I can imagine.
Did you ever consider military service?
Yeah, my granddad was a Marine, and he kind of was like poking and prodding me about it. But then the political climate at the time, he was like, no, you don't have to do it. So I would have had to go to like the Gulf War or whatever, or Desert Storm or whatever it was at the time.
Didn't want to ship you off right to that?
Yeah, it was. Instead, he made me join a fraternity. And I got out of that too. So
slightly different.
Yeah. It was one or the other. But I had great excuses to not be in either, in both of them actually.
It was the frat or the Marines. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the excuse to get out of the frat?
I can't really say. It's kind of inappropriate.
Okay.
It's nothing that I did. It was just the situation going on with the frat. That's all I'll say.
It's an after dark story that we can.
Yeah, that's for the Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
760-517-6844 is the phone number. Who's online right now? Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hey, who's this?
This is Noah from the other coast, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Nice. What's going on, Noah?
Well, first of all, since you brought it up earlier, I do agree with your Super Bowl prediction. The Chiefs and I'm hoping for the Eagles to win, but I got nothing against the Chiefs, but it's just time for someone else to win, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to be grumpy about a dynasty because, you know, I grew up in New England. I was a Patriots fan, 20 years of dominance, all those Super Bowls that we went to. So it's hard to be like, well, another team can't be a dynasty, but it's funny watching it from the outside, not having a dog in the fight. I remember people used to complain that, you know, Brady would get all these calls. It's so ridiculous. Anytime anybody breathes on him, they get a 15-yard penalty. But now the NFL is doing it the other way. Like the Chiefs are just getting so many calls. You know, I can't see it, but I listen to the radio call and listen to everybody talk about it. And it just sounds like all the calls they're getting are, it just seems like a little bit much. Like they really want Taylor Swift and Mahomes to win this thing.
And it's not just the refs; it's the commentators, the TV commentators as well. They are complimenting Mahomes, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, he's so spatially aware, and he can handle the ball so well." And I mean, yeah, but it's not that. You know,
I mean, he's a great player, and I should, you know, when I said that I was picking the Chiefs and the refs, I should also, I work for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you listen to the Philadelphia Eagle radio broadcast, you'll hear me doing a lot of commercials in between the play. So I work for the Eagles. I follow the Eagles. It just seems like it's going to be a tough task to overcome. And of course, if Mahomes and the Chiefs win, they'll be the first team to win 3 in a row. So, you know, they're fighting for history. It should be a good game, but I don't know what the ratings are going to be like this year. So many people are just annoyed and done with the Chiefs. I don't know if the rest of the country's going to be tuning in to watch it.
But yeah, you know, yeah, I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm going to watch the game because, you know, it's a Super Bowl, but. Me and my family are making wings, so I'm just there for the food.
Nice. Barbecue, you like hot wings or barbecue wings?
We have a not a big fryer, but like a small deep fryer that we're gonna just make wings in, make a buffalo sauce, and then I want to make like a spicier sauce.
Nice. Buffalo and spicy. I'm just a giant wimp. I like honey mustard. What do I like? Brooks lemon. What was that dry one that you had me try? Lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper.
Yeah, lemon pepper.
Those are the best.
Yeah, barbecue is good. Anything with a little bit of spice on it, though. I mean, you're a spicy guy. We go out and you're like, what's the hottest salsa that you've got? Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you end up like sweating from your forehead. It hurts your mouth. Why do you like the pain? Like, why do you like? I don't even get the appeal to hot food.
It makes it taste better, first of all. And then it kind of gives you like an endorphin rush. It's you kind of get a little bit of a high from it. And it kind of feels to me like it kind of cleans out my system. There's kind of a lot of things about it that I enjoy, but I think ultimately the flavor enhancement is my favorite part of it.
I guess if you can handle it, there's a lot of positive points you bring. It's just for me, the pain. I'm like, oh my God, I can't deal with it. And then like, so someone that enjoys hot and spicy stuff, like, so you eat some like crazy hot spicy wings or something. Like the next day when you go and eat like some Life cereal or something, is it the most boring thing ever?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you get addicted to spicy things, which is not good because you can blow your taste buds out.
That's what I wonder. Like the people, like your friend, you got a friend Austin that loves hot stuff, and like, can he taste anything else after a while?
I mean, he can, but he might not be able to when he's 60.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah,
I've got that devil's toe in here somewhere. 9 million cumin or something like that.
Man,
kind of outrageous.
Scoville level.
No, the Scoville level was way hotter than any single pepper. Whatever they did to that thing, that devil's toe. That thing that I did not eat, I think it's in that room. I won't make you try it.
It's a good thing you did not try it, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess the challenge is if you can keep it in your mouth for 5 seconds, like that's the challenge. And like 5 seconds doesn't seem that long, but...
Man, that's probably so brutal.
Oh, did you get one? We'll do I have someone on hold right now. Did you get one of the pine cones?
I got them right here.
Okay, let me, I just put someone on hold, so let me talk to them real quick.
Okay.
Who we got on the line right now?
Jacob from Indiana.
Jacob, what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
I got a couple questions for you. What do you think about Miles Davis and what was the other one I was going to ask you about? You know who Miles Davis is?
The jazz singer, is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, can't say I'm the biggest aficionado on Miles Davis's music. Oh, I just went to put him down and I bounced him off by accident.
Whoops.
What's your opinion on Miles Davis, Brooks?
I mean, I like what I know. I know a couple songs, and I like jazz. So he's the most renowned jazz guy. So
I'm not a big jazz fan. I had the most narrow. When I grew up in Boston, there were 3 rock radio stations in town. There was no country whatsoever, and so I basically just listened to rock my entire life. I have a very narrow field of the music that I like. You try and describe one of those. You can have one of those pine cones and see if you can describe it to people. To me, it tasted like dirt and. Pine. It tastes like pine tree.
I mean, it does taste like you would expect a pine cone to taste. It's piney.
Was there any actual dirt, or
But it's candied, so it's very sweet.
Yeah.
On the outside, the inside, as you experience, is weirdly gooey.
Yeah, the inside's like a gum. I thought, even after I found out what it was, I thought someone took a gummy and then put pine cone, whatever they're called, leaves or whatever, around it.
Yeah, no, I think they boil them probably.
Yeah, so I guess it boils it, but it literally turns the inside into, doesn't it taste like a really tender gummy or something like that?
Yeah, it's very, very tender gummy. Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's delicious. And I mean, the ingredients are just literally pine cones, sugar, and water.
Well, that's what it has the ingredients written on it?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, the taste of pine and sugar, basically. I think it's delicious.
I was ChatGPTing with it a little bit, and I felt like it was being a wise ass. It told me it was popular in some Eastern Bloc areas. Told me it was popular in Siberia, and I'm like, why are candied pine cones popular in Siberia? And he goes, well, there's lots of pine trees in Siberia. I was like, oh, yeah, I suppose that was kind of obvious if I could have thought about it for a second. He also told me that there are some health benefits to eating candied pine cones, but I forgot to ask the follow-up and figure out what that was. I guess anything with just 2 ingredients is pretty friggin' rare these days.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And I didn't know you could eat pine cones until this.
No, I didn't.
And now I'm a fan, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal these from you.
I won't even know. It was like that time we went to lunch and there was a guy sitting across from me stealing all my French fries, and I didn't know.
You who shall not be named.
Shall not be named. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. Who's on the line with us now?
I'm going to use my nickname, Panda.
All right, Panda, what's going on?
I've got a question for you.
Sure.
How would you tell someone who has high anxiety, more like motivate or encourage them?
Let me think about it that way. So someone with high anxiety that has troubles with motivation, I mean, they'd have to sit down for a little bit and try and figure out if their anxiety is related to things in the future or just the present tense. My general rule of thumb, this kind of broad-based rule of thumb, is every morning when I wake up, I try and think about the good and fun possibilities of the day. And so I don't deal with anxiety, but I go the other way. I can get depressed from time to time. And when I start to feel that way, I really try and think forward to daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals. And I know that I'm not going to start achieving those things that will bring me. Generally, a lot of them are focused around work, but they're also focused around happiness, things that Banana and I could do, where I could surf, or if I can surf, or other career steps that I want to take. So I try and focus on incremental things that will make me happy over periods of time. And I think someone that's dealing with anxiety, if they can stop focusing, hyper focusing on the anxiety and the thing that's mentally taxing them so hard and start thinking about things that'll make them happy, at least it's a good first step. What do you think about that, Panda?
That sounds good. And I have to say one thing about you. I've been watching your YouTube videos, and you're awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a big fan of your Express, by the way. Panda Express, love that stuff.
I don't know if I own one of those or not. Well, I'll have to look in my phone book.
They're using your name. It was the first thing. I downloaded one of those delivery apps, And the first thing that I wanted delivered to my house, it wasn't Jersey Mike's, it wasn't pizza. I wanted Panda Express. And I had Banana set me up. And now every time I open up the app, there's like this quick thing. I actually haven't ordered anything. I usually have either you or Banana or somebody do the ordering for me because they're not always text-to-speech friendly. But literally when I open up my app, all I can do now is order the orange chicken, the cashew shrimp, and the lo mein. So I just hit one button, and then in 15 minutes, I got my Panda Express back at the door.
Okay, I'm writing that down. So next time I go to Panda Express, I can get some.
It's a
but
good meal.
thank you, Pete.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Pete. And
Brooks over there.
Yes,
and
sir.
we got
Call me moderator.
Mr. Moderator, and then I almost forgot her name too, Skylar. So that's a difficult thing for me to answer, Panda. I think those are first steps that you can take. Possibly is I've always found I think you and I deal with some similar issues, Brooks. I think we deal with them in the same way. We stay busy and we try and focus on goals.
Yeah, I mean, the more you accomplish, the better you feel, less anxiety you feel, and then also. It's just about being busy.
Yeah.
Then you don't have time to think about your life.
Yeah, you even talked about like even the benefit. It's really funny, like this day and age, like gamer can have either a positive or negative connotation to it. But I'd rather hear that someone was like a gamer and participating, because these days gaming is like a community thing. It's not sitting in your bedroom, just you and the computer. Like you have teams and people that you can communicate with and compete with. I feel like even that's better than just sitting around and just stressing out or being depressed about things.
Yeah, and I even think it's better than just swiping on your phone constantly. At least you're engaged in, like you said, a community activity, and your mind has to focus on accomplishing a goal in a video game. And it's not just, endless doom scrolling or whatever. You have to actually focus, which is hard to do for a lot of people these days.
Yeah, I tried to. This week, I noticed that I was just spending a lot of time on social media. I feel like the algorithms kind of figured me out. They like to deliver a lot of stand-up comedy to me.
Okay,
I like stand-up comedy. They're not sending me bikini girls anymore. I don't think. It's funny when I
figured that out.
Yeah, when I tap on Instagram, it'll say. And I'll show it to Banana or something, the text-to-speech. So they have all these new description software things, and it'll say something like, woman wearing underwear. And I'm like, what? What is this? And Banana's like, no, it's a girl in a bikini, and she's on a beach. I'm like, oh, okay. And then sometimes it'll be like child underwear. I'm like, ooh, I don't want that. And she's like, no, that's just a pretty girl. She's probably like 25 or something. But if she's small, like the AI doesn't know the difference between like a 5'1" 30-year-old and like a 5'1" like 10-year-old or something like that.
Yeah.
So on my phone it's like a child in underpants. I'm like, whoop, scroll, get out of there. But yeah, I like my two favorite things on social media. Besides my own videos, of course, everybody should always watch my stuff. But I like stand-up comedy, and I like behind the scenes of movies and music. I get fed a lot. I've been getting fed a lot of like Smashing Pumpkins stories these days.
That's pretty specific.
It is. But I got to fix something on my phone because I tried to limit my my time on social media, and I tried to pick 10 minutes, and I picked 1. And so now I go on, and after 59 seconds, it's like,
oh man, yeah, that's not quite enough.
Yeah,
especially for you. Yeah,
I was just sitting on the can this morning. And I got through like one video, and it's like, you've reached your set time for the day. I'm like, what?
Oh no,
I was like, that wasn't enough time.
Being on the can without your phone, oh, that's tough.
How do I occupy myself?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Anybody in any of the chats that we should respond to or talk with?
I can check out YouTube. Panda is she said thank you for taking the call. That was awesome. Someone says salutations from Georgia.
Citations. Oh, salutations.
Salutations. Someone says, hi Pete, don't be upset about not liking jazz. Music taste gets set in our minds between the ages of 13 and 16. If rock is what you were most exposed to in this period, not getting jazz makes sense.
That is interesting. I didn't know it was between 13. I mean, 13 and 16, so that would have been 19. So here, when I was, this is fun. When I was 13, that was 1990. And then I think it was the next year that was the quartet of amazing albums that came out. It was like Soundgarden, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all those bands. So I was listening to that stuff between 13 and 16. I was right in the beginning of like the grunge era.
Makes sense why you like rock then.
Yeah. I just know, I don't know. Jazz to me is, I don't know. I don't want to talk.
I think a lot of people pretend that they like jazz because it's cool to like jazz.
I went to school with a kid who became a professional jazz. What did he play? something clarinet, or his dad was like a professional jazz clarinet player. I was like, oh, some interesting jobs.
They can get paid pretty good.
Yeah. I used to go to a summer club, a boat club with Yo-Yo Ma.
Okay.
You know who that is?
I've heard the name.
I think he was cello, like a professional cello player too.
Okay.
So I don't know if he did jazz, but I had a little bit of exposure. But mostly I was just listening to Guns N' Roses as a kid, and then Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Green Day, Soundgarden, and stuff like that.
Basically all the last good bands that existed in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, who's this?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
Hello, Pete. This is Yanis from Pennsylvania.
Sorry, what's your first name again?
Yanis.
Yanis.
Yeah, from Pennsylvania.
In the Boston area, because of the accents. So, like, my brother's daughter, I'd be like, that's Yanis. that's how you talk in Boston.
Yeah.
What is the origin of that name?
Oh, I'm from Africa.
All right. That is, because that's not one I've heard before. I kind of like it. What's going on today?
So I got one question for you.
Sure.
Have you ever been, like, accused of, not being blind before?
Like, all the time.
It's already it already happened in the chat.
Oh, no way. Someone in the chat said I wasn't blind?
Well, he just said, is he really blind,
Yeah. Especially, and I was pretty clear about the demarcation line in my life. I didn't know when I was a kid how bad my eyesight was going to get. So I was, from a very early age, I would tell people I'm legally blind, and I felt like they understood that. And then when I got to the point when I didn't feel comfortable walking down a sidewalk anymore because I couldn't see the people coming towards me, I couldn't really see the obstacles around, and I started walking with the cane and using Superdog as a guide dog. That's when I started telling people I was blind. Because at Legally Blind, I was like, everything's there, but it's kind of blurry. But now I don't have anything anymore. Just washes of stuff. But yeah, in the Legally Blind, because I feel like because I was clear telling people I was legally blind, they got it. But yeah, I mean, when I started this channel, I mean, I have habits like throughout this whole thing. I'm looking over at Brooks. Am I seeing Brooks? No, I'm not. But like, I know that he's there, and I know that people like to do things like that. And there was a video that I recently posted just 2 days ago where I had an accident on a skateboard ramp, and my hand got injured. And I looked at my hand, and someone in the comments is like, I thought you're blind. Why are you looking at your hand? And that's just, it's a force of habit. Like, I don't know, like I've had sight for a long time. So like, yeah, I want to see if my hand is injured. Oh, right. I can't see it, but like, I'm still going to point my head there. So that leads a lot of people to confusion. I've definitely been accused in person and quite often online of not actually being blind, which is so weird. Like when I was a kid, I would work so hard trying to not let people know that I had a visual disability. And now as an adult, and you tell me like 30 years later, I'd be like, no, I am blind. No, I'm totally blind. It's just a weird 180 in my life. But go ahead.
It's just like at the start, you just want people to know that you're blind, but not at the start, you just want people to know that you're not I'm not really blind, but now you want people to know that you are blind.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes situations like I had a couple of guys over here the other day doing some work in the house, and I just thought they were going to be here for a couple minutes, and I didn't really feel like explaining my eyesight to them. And then one guy tried to hand me something, I guess, and he's like, sir. And I didn't know he was trying to hand me something. He's like, do you want this? I was like, oh. And it got awkward after a couple minutes. I finally told him, like, I can't actually see. So, and Banana's been a champion of that. She's like, you got to explain it to people, like, because otherwise you're going to run into situations where they're going to think you're rude. I mean, it's not like I meet someone immediately like, I'm blind, but if I'm going to have any sort of interaction like that, I should explain it. And I do feel like that was one of the reasons I got comfortable carrying the cane around, because you got the blind guy cane, people know, they get it right away.
By the way, Josh is in the chat.
That's all.
What up, Josh?
That's all I got to ask you.
All right. Well,
I'm going to pass off the call to someone else.
Well, because I thought he was going to pass up the call. Mm-hmm. I mistimed that, but I appreciate it, Yanis. I like your cool name. I like unique names. California is full of unique names, but they're mostly like
Braxton.
These are my kids, Braxton, Brixton, and Bruxton.
Yeah, Reef.
reef, wave, shore, sand, break.
Yeah, Cardiff.
Cardiff.
I haven't heard that one yet.
What is Josh doing in the chat? Just saying hey.
He just said what up, and he said yo yo ma.
Yo yo. Oh yeah, yo yo ma. We are. What time is it now?
Assuming it's the real Josh Servi. Yeah, I just got to be out of here by like 5:45.
All right, and it is. Oops. It's 5:24 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, that means. Do you want to try and get us a couple more minutes on the TikTok, or is that going to be difficult to go drop a comment over?
Oh, yeah, let me try it.
I remember the last time you got over there, you did the puzzle piece, and then it canceled like the moment you did it. You were like, no. I wonder if we're past the point. I wonder if you're going to see a puzzle point piece at this point.
Oh yeah, it's there.
Oh, the puzzle piece is up. Did we already get kicked off?
No.
Oh, if you can do the puzzle.
All right, we're good.
Oh, look at that.
Made it.
Do you have to drop a comment as well? You just had to do the puzzle.
I'll drop a comment too.
All right, TikTokers, we're going to stay with you for a few more minutes. All the benefits to having Mr. Moderator by 760-517-6844 is the number. Who's this?
Hi, this is Owen. I'm about to turn 9, and I'm functionally blind, and I have primary aphakia.
Okay, we got Owen on the line, Brooks. He's about to turn 9. He's functionally blind. What is your question, Owen?
So like basically, how are you good with like technology, like Voiceover? Do you have like a refreshable Braille display?
I did not learn Braille. I was when I started to try and learn it, I was 19 years old, and the process was going very slow for me. And at the same time, the technology of text-to-speech was just around the corner. So I skipped out on learning Braille. I focused very heavily on the technologies available. I also used the time that I had a certain amount of eyesight to really get familiar with computers. To this day, I still use a computer, not like other blind people, because I know my way around a computer, even though I can't see the screen. But I do feel like one of the most important things that someone losing their sight can do is familiarize themselves with technology, because you can do almost anything with technology these days. It'll be a little slower than people with their eyesight can do it, but there's still so much that you can do with optical character recognition, image recognition, text-to-speech, and speech-to-text. I think those are very important things to learn.
By the way, thanks for picking up my call. We were waiting for a very long time, like 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, no.
Thanks for picking up the
Sorry to leave you on hold for so long. No, my pleasure. Thank you. And when you're only about to turn 9, 15 to 20 minutes of your time is basically like 0.0035% of your entire life. So that is a long set of time to make you wait.
Think about.
Sorry about that.
Someone on TikTok said they'd called 130 times.
130 times. Well, for all that waiting, Owen, did he hang up? You still there, Owen?
No.
Oh, I didn't want to get rid of you too fast, because you were patient and you got something. So I was diagnosed with my disease when I was 8. So I'm familiar with your situation and the timing. Was there something else you want to talk about?
By the way, I like your Daredevil mask. I'm a big fan of Daredevil. My dad calls me Daredevil because I have supersonic hearing.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah, the Daredevil mask got sent to me for a blind guy unboxing. It's a little hot and sweaty under there, but it's good to throw on every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, Owen, thank you very much. Thanks for the call. Thanks for watching the channel. If you think of other questions that you want to ask, you can always hit me up in the comment section. I'm usually pretty responsive in the comment section. Should I talk about the video that's at about 2.3 million views right now, where I responded to someone in the comment section, or should I let that one lie?
I don't know. I think we got a lot of callers.
Get through those instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I respond just 10 seconds or less. If you are asking a question in the comment section, there's a chance that I'm going to respond, and there's also a chance that I might make a video out of it. And I generally do it to raise awareness, ask a question, or further the conversation. And I guess I can just leave it at that for right now. Those would be the reasons that I would continue the conversation. But I'm big on being a part of my community. I like responding to comments. I like educating people. I like learning their stories. And it's one of the main reasons I do this show, is because I like I like interacting with my fans. So you're gonna get a lot more interaction out of me than I think you will a lot of other creators with millions of followers or one follower on Facebook. Do we ever get more than one on Facebook?
I'll give it a look here.
If it's just the one, you don't need to go over there. 760-517-6844 is the number. Who's this?
This is Noah from Washington.
Noah, what's going on?
I have two questions, and the first one is, what's the tattoo on your arm?
Oh, the tattoo on my arm. Can you see? Oh, I guess, I didn't realize my sleeve was, I'm flexing for everybody, Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Is it behind my microphone though? Go over there.
No,
I got a big Cobra on my arm, which at first glance might be like, okay, tough guy with the snake. But I did learn at a point in my life that snakes have really terrible vision. But no one would ever look at a snake as a weak animal or an animal that you'd want to mess with, because they have a bunch of other ways to defend and attack and live their lives. So I kind of like that. Even without vision, a snake is a formidable, without good vision, a snake is a formidable animal. So I put that on my arm, just kind of remind myself of that little thing.
Yeah. And then second, when you...
Oh, I didn't do that. I did not get rid of him. He got rid of himself.
Yeah.
When you hear the boom, that's them dropping themselves off. Geez, his first question was a good one. He allowed me to show off my my arms to everybody. I was curious what I was going to get to. Curious what I was going to show off in the next one. Well, sorry, because now I'm learning people waiting on hold for that long. I feel extra bad that he got booted. But let's see who we got coming up next. Who's this?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure. What's your name?
Nolan.
Nolan?
Nolan.
All right, Nolan, what's your question?
How do you surf if you're blind?
I mean, that's a pretty good question. I do feel like
magical powers.
Magical powers. I'll try and answer that one. I mean, that's kind of the most. What's the most common question I get? How do you surf if you're blind, or how do you respond to text?
Yeah. How do you respond to comments?
Yeah, how do you respond to comments? Should I do the 5-second version of how do you surf if you're blind?
I think he deserves an answer, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
short.
It's just the same way you do anything without eyesight, just practice and repetition. But the thing that makes basically everything else I learned blind, whether it was like learning how to run this board up here, this board, or even skateboarding, the repetition, like you do this with a skateboard, this is going to happen. Like you push forward, this is going to happen. You try and jump up on this curb, it's always this height. So the repetition sinks in a little bit faster. With surfing, the freaking wave.
There's no repetition. No repetition.
No, the wave is different every single. I've been surfing since 2016. I don't think I've ridden the same wave twice. And you've been riding like 30 years or 20 years, forever. And you've probably never had the same wave twice.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to point breaks, you can have very similar waves, or at least it's predictable, But yeah, even a point break wave is never the same.
Yeah, I mean, so that's been the hard thing for me, learning how to surf blind, is I'm trying to put in my brain bank, like when I hear this or I start to feel this is going to happen, but it doesn't always happen. So basically, I just have to prepare for every possible outcome as I'm paddling for a wave. So my stance is I laugh sometimes myself when I get like in a squat position and I'm getting ready for like a big drop, and then like it's an 18-inch wave and I'm like, oh, okay. I just kind of have to prepare for worst case scenario. So sorry I got rid of you quickly there, Nolan. I did get an answer out of that, but I felt like it was something I'd covered at least a few times before. 760-517-6844 is our phone number. Who's this?
Hey, Pete, how's it going? It's Elijah from Montana.
Elijah, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much, man. It's cold over here, but we're making it work.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's kind of funny when like Yellowstone came out, just as a gag one day. I was talking to Banana. I was like, how cool would it be if we did like, part of the year in Montana? And she was looking it up, and you get like single-digit winters out there. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be there for that.
Oh, yeah. No, there is quite a few years ago, we were the coldest place on the planet for like 2 hours.
Wow. That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was nuts.
None of the old Western shows or Yellowstone or anything like that I watch, they don't usually show it in the sub-zero temperature part of the year. They show it in the fall, spring, and summer, I think.
Oh, no, of course. And, that's the best parts of the year, so I can't blame them for that. But, yeah, the winter is very long and cold, that's for sure.
I think I'll stick to San Diego. I'm already a giant wuss. When it gets down to like 51 here, I'm like, I'm so cold. I lost my Boston toughness.
No, and I guess that was part of one of my questions I wanted to ask was, so you skateboarded and surfed and learned how to do that through repetition.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered snowboarding?
I went up to Big Bear a couple years ago, and because I'm so sensitive, it's kind of new with my, I can't see anything of any use, but I can detect light. And we went up to Big Bear and we went to a little mountain, and there's a video of me like snow skiing. Josh loaned me his snow ski. And I mean, I had glasses on and I was even closing my eyes, and the light reflection from the snow was so bright that I was just getting a headache, like pretty instantaneously. And it was just uncomfortable. And I'm sure there's ways around it. Like I could wear like, a headband over my eyes and the glasses and close my eyes. But the initial experience, yeah, just kind of being uncomfortable. And also, I don't know, for something about like, I'm just so comfortable on a skateboard, and I know I can bail off of a skateboard at any time. Like you can jump off, and on a surfboard, you can, you jump off and you land in the water. So there's something intimidating to me about snowboarding. Like, I just feel like if I was headed towards a tree, or going off the course towards a cliff or something, I just have like bad nightmares of Josh yelling to me like, stop, and me not knowing how to stop and going over a cliff. I mean, it'd be kind of a cool headline, like blind surfer dies on snowboard. You'd be like, yeah, that was kind of a cool way to go. But something, I don't know. It doesn't super appeal to me for some reason.
No, that's completely fair. And if you got to bail on a snowboard, it is a little bit more of a, you take a spill way harder than you would if you were in the water, and you at least know how to jump off a skateboard. So that makes sense. I don't know. I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of surf and snowboard culture out here. Like a lot of people do both. And a part of me wants to, wants to get into it. But, I already took up a ridiculously hard sport, and I'm enjoying that right now. And I've heard that the first few days of snowboarding can be really difficult on your coccyx. Like, because you're landing on your butt all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I've already got
your wrist and your butt.
Yeah,
man,
your wrist.
Those are going to be sore.
Wrist, butt, back. Like, I actually, even surfing, I garner my injuries on the weekend. I rehab Monday through Friday, and I go back out again, thinking of like compiling them on a snowboard. I don't know. Just I don't know. Not in my desire field at this moment, I don't think.
No, absolutely. The repercussions, if it goes bad, are probably not quite so worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just had one more question. Yep. Being from Montana, have you ever been fishing or fly fishing before?
I have never been a fly fisher. I grew up in the Boston area, and apparently the best slugger that played for the Red Sox, Ted Williams, was an extraordinary fly fisher. Random fact that I knew about him. I used to do a fair amount of drop line fishing at a boat club that I used to sail at. So I would sail in the afternoons, and in between I would do some drop line fishing, and I'd catch little things like sunfish, maybe a perch here and there, bass every once in a while. And then once I hooked this big turtle, and I just felt so damn bad about it. I ended up having to.
No, that's the worst.
Yeah, I caught the turtle. I was on a dock, and I realized that that's the GoPro dying. I realized that I had a turtle on the line, and I had to like gently drag him like 50 or 70 feet to my left, where there was a ramp next to the dock, and then I had to.
So you can get him off.
Yeah, and I had to like coerce it. Like I was definitely hurting the guy, and I felt so bad. Like I had to bring him up onto the ramp and then reach in and take the hook out of his mouth. I was like, oh, that sucked. I felt really bad about. A couple times I caught eels, and those freaked me out. Like I was a little kid. I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, and I'd bring up an eel. I was like, ah, gross. I didn't know what to do with it. I had to have my friends reach and grab the hook out of those. Yeah, exactly. Those things. I didn't even know that. Like, I'm like, those things are in the lake. Like, this is a lake I used to swim in as well. I'm like, whoa, those things are in there. That's gross.
No, absolutely. I'll let you go to the next caller, but I just wanted to say, if you ever do come to Montana, you'd probably have to bring someone with you to be a spotter, but I would highly recommend fly fishing. The actual physical part of it, having a super small fish on a fly rod, it feels like it's a gigantic fish. So
really?
Super amazing, super awesome. I'd highly recommend it. But hey, I just wanted to say I appreciate the call, and thanks for having me, man.
Thanks a lot. I do feel. Have you ever done fly fishing, Brooks?
I have not. My uncle is very big into it, but I've never tried it. Yeah.
Is he one of those guys that like makes his own lures and everything?
No, but he actually, ironically, lived in Montana.
Oh, did he?
And so yeah, I know it's big there. But yeah, I've never tried it.
I do have images in my head, and I don't know what movies I was watching as a kid, but I do have images of like guys standing. A river runs through it. Did that take place in Montana?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have images in my head of like someone standing at the edge of this like beautiful running river and like mountains in the background. It sounds like it'd be super peaceful. Even if I couldn't partake in viewing the scenery anymore, I do feel like standing at the edge of, or like in, wearing my waders and being a couple feet into the water in a river in Montana. That does sound like sensory.
Yeah, it sounds pleasant.
Yeah, it does. Maybe at some point. Maybe at some point when I'm allowed to travel. So you said you have to be out of here at what?
Around 5:45. I gotta be somewhere at 7. I was trying to hit the gym beforehand. So
all right, you want to take one more call and then call it a show?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go right to the. I didn't give any warning there. I just jumped to it. 760. Well, I can't give the phone number because it's the last one. Who's this?
Good thing you didn't.
Yeah. Hey, who's this?
Alex.
Alex, what's going on?
What's up? I got a question here for you.
Sure, go ahead.
When you're surfing out in the ocean, right, and you need some help, like let's say you fall in the ocean, you don't know where you are. Let's say, who do you call to guide you?
I go out with a coach, so they're generally by my side at all times. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't call for strangers for a number of reasons. I'm not sure if a stranger would understand the situation. They might just not understand that I'm blind. I also wouldn't know if a stranger was around, so just calling frantically might kind of freak people out. Usually my coaches stay pretty close by my side, and I think I only count a couple of instances where I've needed help. I'm pretty solid and stable in the water.
Yeah, you've never asked for help from me.
There was one time, Brooks, when we did the jet ski adventure, and I caught a wave and just got caught on the inside. And because we jet skied in, this is going to sound weird. So when you surf, you paddle out and you surf back. You paddle out. So like I had a frame of reference to like north and south, but in the jet ski adventure, we jet skied to the spot, and then I started catching waves, and I had no frame of reference where the land was. And so I was on the inside, and I was apparently going like left and right at like 30-degree angles, and then I kept getting hit by waves and pushed back. I was very disoriented. I mean, I wasn't going to drown, but I was never going to get out.
Yeah, you were like going in circles. Yeah, I remember that.
So Nisha, I guess, sent you. She's like, "Go get him."
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the 2 times I think that I had to be rescued, and I didn't even ask for help. You guys just spotted. You're like, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's some times where I can tell that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. Do you have Yeah. Do you have a follow up?
Oh yeah, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
If I were wanting to get into surfing, where would I start?
If you want to get into surfing, I'm gonna let you go, and you can take this one. You can listen to it. You'd start at an ocean to begin with.
Yeah.
But the advice that I give everybody, because I didn't necessarily do it this way, is you find the biggest board you can. Right? You think that's good advice?
Yeah. Just get a long foam board.
Yeah. Big long foam board. I mean, I was so stubborn on trying to get to a short board super fast because it was carrying a big board around for me was like dangerous. I just wanted like something small that I could handle on my own. But yeah, I talked to people, like my first experiences surfing were brutal and rough and difficult. It's because I was kind of on a short board to begin with. Then I talked to people that are like, "Oh, I went to Hawaii and I got a 10-foot foam board and I got up right away." I'm like, "What? You could do that?"
Yeah, just get a big foam board and then go out and in small waves where no one else is around and just catch a lot of waves. And then honestly, you just have to go all the time. That's the only way you'll get better. You have to go as much as you possibly can. And it'll probably not be very fun for like an entire year.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for it to be an enjoyable experience. It's very frustrating getting hit by waves, not catching waves, seeing people around you catch waves when you're not catching them, dealing with crowds. But if you get past that year hump, it can be really fun and rewarding, but it's a lot of work to get there.
I wonder where I could post this. Like maybe I could just post it as like a question or a poll question or something. Like I think that surfing has the steepest learning curve of any sport.
I think so too.
I can't think. I mean, I've never driven NASCAR, but because I feel like going 200 50 miles an hour with a bunch of people around you would also be kind of scary. But
at least you can just put your foot on the gas pedal and go.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like with surfing, it's like the amount of work it takes to just get the one thing that you're going for.
Right. Yeah. Months and months and months and months of just trying to stand up and go down a wave. And then the first time you get it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's great. And it's totally rewarding, but it is frustrating.
It is.
And laborious for a long time.
It is. But anybody who wants to go on vacation, like Brooke said, small waves, big board, foam day. I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
It's possible. Is there anything in the comments we should check in on before we take off?
Let's take a quick look here. Have you seen the great weather today? Nothing crazy.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody on all the platforms who chimes in every week. I think Banana will be doing the old-timey phrase game next week. It's hard to come up with so many old-timey phrases, but we shall... What did I just do? I was trying to play us out with our music. I think I killed the music. Well, all right, whatever. Good time to go then. Thanks to everybody.
Okay, sorry.
I was going to sign off. Is there anything else?
No, we're good.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody for watching. We will see you next week with or without Banana. It'll be me and probably Skylar and maybe Mr. Moderator. You'll have to tune in to find out exactly what's going on. Oh, and go get yourself some candied young pine cones.
Candied young pine cones.
I don't get any money for that, by the way. I just think that they're worth it.
They're delicious. I'd highly suggest them.
Thanks, everybody. Till next week.